Right. Evening, everyone. If you can put your hand up, we'll come to you. I don't know if there are microphones or not, but if there are, then wait for the microphone. And if we've got some Spanish, please wait for us to put headphones on. Mark? Front row here, please.
Arsene, it's your 250th game as a European manager. Presumably you're praying it's not going to be, you're going to get to 251.
Yes, that's a good question, in fact. The target is to get to 51, but I believe that we come to a place who has as well a good history in Europe, and will be a game where we know exactly what to do, and our way to behave is clear, and that is, of course, an advantage sometimes.
How do you feel about the away form in 2018? Do you think you have a psychological problem away from home that you need to counter in this game?
In the Premiership, yes. In Europe, no. I think in Europe we have done well away from home. We neglected as well recently a little bit the Premier League away from home. So, but overall, I think tomorrow is just a game where you want to focus on the game and on your performance, and that's all. I don't think that the players will be too much worried about the Premier League tomorrow.
Jeremy?
Arsene, how important is it to you, after all your years at Arsenal, to leave the club in the Champions League?
I did that for 20 or 21 years, I don't even know, but to be in the Champions League, and I want, of course, to achieve it.
Mr. Wenger, we've seen last week one more time Diego Simeone like an explosion. How do you see his way of coaching? Because he always tries to influence his players, the audience, the referees, your players.
Yeah, I believe that every manager has his own personality, and he's doing extremely well in what he does. He tries to influence his team in a positive way. Many times he manages to do it. Last week he has been sent off, and only the referee can make that decision.
Rob? Question for David. David, what did you learn about this Atletico side last Thursday at the Emirates?
Nosotros ya conocemos al Atlético.
Well, we know Atletico. We know the players they've got. We know their staff. We know that they try to infuse this really South American will in their team, and I think Atletico does that really well. But we're here to do our job. We've been doing really good games in this great competition, and tomorrow we hope to do things in a good way to get a result that can get us to the final.
All the big matches you've been involved with in so many places around Europe, on the eve of this match, do you actually feel nervous?
There's always a part of tension, I would say, call that more tension, desire to win. And, you know, as well, with the experience I have, there's uncertainty about football that creates a tension, and that's normal. And what you want is to help your team to have much certainty as possible and belief as possible. But of course, football game we have seen last night again, you know, it can go on both sides. And that makes football great as well, because it's unpredictable.
Sammy?
Arsene, do you relish the opportunity to go toe-to-toe and head-to-head with some of the new breed of young manager, obviously Diego Simeone being one of them, given your experience, and do you kind of, want to prove that you've still
honestly
got it?
I don't feel first of all too much my age, and secondly, I don't think that Simeone is a young manager. He has a huge experience already. This guy has played Champions League finals, has won championship in Spain. had experiences before he came to Spain. And I don't focus on going head to head. My job is to help my team, and I just focus on that. I forget completely who manages the other team, and I just try to get my team in the best possible shape to have a good performance.
Muy buenas, Arsene.
Hi, Arsene. I wanted to ask you about Diego Costa. He returns to Atletico after not playing in the first leg. Is Atletico more dangerous with Diego Costa, and can he make a difference in the final, in the tie?
He has shown that he can make differences. Costa. He played in England and was very successful. But it's our job to keep him quiet, and maybe the best way to keep him quiet is not to play too much in our half and play more in the half of Atletico Madrid.
Arsene, do you get just excited now as what you did 22 years ago when you joined ahead of the big matches?
Yes, of course. And, I think because in football you sometimes you think you have seen that before, and you always can discover new things. In every single game can surprise you, and that's why it's a new adventure. You think you start every game from it's a new something new, and you never know what you expect. That's why the excitement is the same.
For Arsene, what do you think of Jan Oblak, Atletico Madrid's goalkeeper? He was fantastic in London.
He was fantastic in London. I hope he will be a bit less fantastic tomorrow.
Thank you.
Arsene, in the past, you've turned down the opportunity to work in Spain.
Yeah.
You've turned down the option to work with Spanish clubs. Mm-hmm. Going forward for next season, is it an option for you to work in Spain? Is that something that appeals to you, maybe?
Look, I don't know what I will do next season. At the moment, I think I'm like to finish well my job, and I believe as well a man has to give his best as long he's somewhere with the whole commitment and energy. I would like to walk out of Arsenal one day and think until the last day I focused only on Arsenal. When my job is finished at Arsenal, I will see where I go from there, but I want to finish with this love story well.
Arsene, you have to score tomorrow night. How does that affect the approach? Do you go on the front foot, or do you try and keep it tight and nick that goal later on?
No, I told you before, the advantage is the way to behave is clear. We know we need to score, and so we have a clear demand in our heads and a clear approach. We need to have a positive way. The only way what we don't know, will Atletico Madrid do the same? Will they, in the opposite, have a more cautious approach and try to get us on the break? That's what you have to deal with in the game.
Scars, I assume because he sat next to you, is David starting tomorrow in goal?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Wenger, I have two questions, if I may. I would like to ask you about your three fellow countrymen on Atletico squad, Antoine Griezmann, Lucas Hernandez, and Kevin Gameiro. And in the legacy perspective, at the end of your 22-year tenancy, and if you were to give advice to Simeone, 22 years is not something that happens in Spain. What would be your advice?
It can happen with Simeone, it can happen, how long is he here now?
6 years.
6 years, he has only 16 to go. And I think Griezmann has done very well here at Atletico Madrid, and unfortunately has hurt us last week. And he's a player I like very much and rate since he has moved out from France at a very young age. He's from Chalon and moved to Real Sociedad, and he made it away from home. And I think he has an exceptional career, and he looks to love the game, what I like as well when I see a player who is talented.
Just a couple more. Matt?
Arsene, with wanting to go out on a high note and Champions League football at stake, has this game become the most important of all of the ones that you've managed?
The next one is always the most important in life, and of course it is the most important because it is the next one, and because it's a big game as well, with influences the future of my club. And that's why it's a massive, it's a very, very, very big game for us, because the future of Arsenal Football Club is not exactly the same. Do we qualify for the Champions League or not?
In the middle here.
Hola Arsene, Pedro Jiménez para la revista.
Tomorrow, Arsenal has the obligation to score tomorrow, to score here. What's your idea, knowing that Atletico Madrid has been has kept a clean sheet for 11 games at home?
The history is to stop somewhere, you know, and that's what we'll try to do. I think from the first game we created chances, and that's why we want to recreate exactly the same situation where we could create many chances, but we didn't manage to put them in the net. And so I would say we just have to keep exactly the same commitment and not focus too much on where we play, just focus on how well we attack and how well we build the game up from the back.
Last question, Dave.
Arsene, you don't often talk about the past, but you reference the good history in this city. Could you tell us a bit more about what you mean there? Because obviously I know, but nice to hear from you.
We came here with a very, very young team and beaten Real Madrid at the time. We had a fantastic team, fantastic names. So that's what you will try to repeat.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.